All right, on to the first module, guys. All right, so this is probably the most important step, or at least one of them. This is where you find your winning products. Okay, so this module right here is going to be in two splits. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to talk a little bit about for you that have an e-commerce brand already. Now you already have products, but that doesn't mean you should stop finding new winning products. When you have an e-commerce brand, you probably have some type of niche that you are focused in. You have some type of brand. Maybe you have some customers that are already in there. Ask your customers. All right, ask your customers, what do they want? What do they want in their life? Literally, make a newsletter and ask your customers what they want. Maybe they want some improvement on the products. Maybe you can talk with your supplier and maybe get that fixed, right? So this is really important. So I'm gonna be going a little bit over what you should focus on if you already have products within your e-commerce brand. For you guys that haven't started an e-commerce brand just yet and are looking to find your first winning products. Okay. And I'm just gonna say this before we go through this. Run an e-commerce brand, don't run a dropshipping store. A dropshipping store can obviously do really well, but you want to have a brand. You don't want to be having one product stores. You don't want to be having one product that you have and then you try to find a new completely different type of product in a completely different type of niche. You want to stay in one niche. You want to create something. When you have customers that stays with you for a long time, that's how you build a big business. You want to have customers that stays for you for years, that trust you. All right, so this is a really critical factor for you to actually run your e-commerce business. So a successful dropshipping business is finding winning products, right? But a successful e-commerce brand is finding customers that stays for you for a long time. We're going to go also over that in the rest of the modules, right? So firstly, I just want to talk about like having a good product is like if you want to have a really good e-commerce brand doing 100 million a year, the first thing is that you have to have a product that is literally irreplaceable. Okay, which is really difficult. It's going to be really difficult to find, but it's absolutely possible to do that. And the second thing, it has to be in high demand. All right, so we're going to go a little bit over niches that is in high demand, that for you to be running a really profitable e-commerce brand, you have to be in these high demand markets. All right, so firstly, for you that has an e-commerce brand, already has products from before, firstly, the first thing you need to do is to understand your winning products, right? So what is the winning products? The winning products are the best sellers, but at the same time, the winning products are the products that has the best margins. All right, so the worse the margins, the harder it is to run ads, the harder it is to go profitable. Okay, so you need to find out 4 or 5 different types of products that you have in your e-commerce brand that you can focus on in the start, right? You don't have to buy in thousands and thousands of products in stock. You can actually test these 4 or 5 different products, have some in stock, and when you are ready, when you try to test it, that's when you can buy more. When you see what is working. If you see 1 or 2 products performing better than the other ones, then you start buying, and you start buying more stock for these 2 products, for example. So focus on 4 or 5 different types of products in the start. That's what I do. We always start with 4 or 5 different types of products. If they all succeed, we try to find new ones all the time. Try to create, many more different types of, many more orders with different types of products, right? And you need to ensure, this is so important, you need to ensure these products are as good profit margins as possible, because when you start running an e-commerce brand, you tend to forget that having a high profit margin is basically one of the most important things in your business, because if you don't have it, you're going to really struggle. Okay, and you're always going to be regularly update your product portfolio based on market trends and customer feedback. That's what I'm saying a little bit in the start. Run a newsletter, ask your customers, what are they thinking about the product? What do they think should be improved about the product? What would they like? Is there another product they would like to have beside the product? Is there an upsell in there, right? So when you are looking for different types of options all the time, that's when you can make and scale more. And always listen to your customer, because the customer is the number one thing That's the most important thing about your business. If you don't have your customers, you can't run your business. All right. So now, for you that doesn't have an e-commerce brand and is looking to start one, and you have no products whatsoever. Okay. So now it's really, really important before you start finding any type of supplier, before you start finding and buying people's products from here and there. The first you need to think, and first what you need to do, you need to actually sit down and think and sit down and do market research. So what is market research? You literally have to look at different types of markets. Okay, so if you live in Norway like I do, I tend to look at, for example, Australia, USA, Canada. What are the trending products? How is the brand set up? What ads are they running? Is this trendy with what coming up? Right? It's a little bit about, it's one thing about finding products that is trending now, but can you predict the future? This is obviously a little bit more important, more difficult, right? But can you actually predict what type of products is going to be important and is going to identify and be a solution to a problem in the future? If you can do that, that's when you win big time. But a lot of times you can find different types of products that is trending in different types of markets. Literally find and see, for example, go on TikTok, see high trendy products that are trending in USA, in Australia, in Canada, all these countries, because they are usually way steps ahead in front of Scandinavia, for example, or Germany, right? So you can literally find trendy products in different countries, in big countries that are steps ahead of you, and implement that in your country. Okay, so again, that's what I'm saying. Conducting market research is so important. So identify trending items, utilize online tools and platforms to identify products, right? So Google Trends, social media, e-commerce platforms, Facebook ad library, you should always look into that, look at what they're advertising. And the best thing about Facebook ad library is that you can actually see how many ads they're running. If they're running many ads, it means that they are usually doing something right. And if they're also having ads that have been going on for a very long time, let's say for example they have had ads since a year ago and they're still active, it usually means that they're very profitable and doing really well. Choosing your niche. All right, you should always select a niche that is in high demand. All right, so what I mean in a high demand, we can go a little bit over that just in a short moment, but some people say you need to align with interests, like it's said here, right? But that doesn't entirely mean you have to do it, right? I just think that I just want to write it down. That's why I wrote it down here, because if you have products that you are genuinely passionate about and generally like, I honestly think a lot of people are gonna like to work more on their e-commerce brand. They're gonna like to go to work. They're gonna like to run your business. So that's why I put it. I don't say that you need to have this, because passionate is one thing, but for me, like doing your passion isn't always the most important thing, and isn't always gonna work. All right. If you're passionate about concrete, maybe that's not the best niche, right? You need to think a little bit more here. And also what I'm saying, like consider profit margins. Profit margins are so important. If you don't consider your profit margins, you are really going to struggle. So again, like I'm saying, aim for 70%, aim for 80%. If you can do 80%, perfect. But for me, I would never ever go lower than 65%, right? Never. Okay. If it's 65%, I really believe in the product. Number 3, solve a problem. Okay, so you need to solve a problem. You need to have products that solves a problem. There needs to be some kind of need that with this product, it gives you a solution to their problems, to your customer. So already now you should start understanding your customers and what problems they're having for you to actually solve their problem with your product. Okay. And also picking your niche. I've told this and I'm just going to say it again. And I've said this before, that if you want to have 100 million a year e-commerce brand, like the biggest e-commerce brands, you have to be in the big 3. Okay, so what is the big 3? The big 3 are 3 niches that literally every human is either in demand of or want or has or whatever. So the first one is health. Okay, so the first one is health. If you are not healthy, you can't do anything, right? So the first one is health. The second one is wealth. People like to have wealth. They like to have money. They like to be a little bit comfortable and be financial free and all these things. Number 3 is relationships. So everybody wants to have a family. They want to be loved, all these things. So you need to be in health, wealth, and relationships. If you are in the big 3, then you 100% can run an e-commerce brand that is doing 100 million a year, because the demand is so huge. But the second thing is that the competition is the biggest as well, right? So you don't need to be in the big 3 to succeed and run an e-commerce brand that is doing 10 million a year. But if you want to be the big guy, you have to be in the big 3. I absolutely believe that. But obviously not everybody wants to be there, and that's fine. Also, 3 types of suppliers. You need different types of suppliers on what you actually want. So in the first one, we have a wholesaler, right? So the wholesaler, you can take control of the shipping and fulfillment by purchasing products in bulk from the wholesalers, right? Kind of makes sense. So, and the second one is drop shipping. So drop shipping, you can opt for drop shipping to minimize upfront costs. Suppliers handle shipping directly to the customers, while margins may be lower. It reduces financial risk, right? So drop shipping, I am not a fan of drop shipping. It's not running a brand. It's not your own. It's not your personal touch to this. And for me, I would not do this, but I know you can run really profitable and really scalable businesses in drop shipping. Absolutely. And then you also have third-party fulfillment. Consider third-party fulfillment like by Amazon, FBA. This involves sourcing products from wholesalers and having a third-party handle distribution. All right. So, and also you want to be deciding on supplier location. You need to be considering international versus local suppliers, because you need to evaluate these things, the pros and the cons to it, because it's going to be especially in a lower cost against potential challenges like shipping times and quality control. And you need to think about, especially later on, like shipping times for me is not the most important thing when you're first starting an e-commerce brand. There's many ways you can do if you're not having the best shipping time. There's many ways you can go around it. Maybe you can give a free gift if your shipping is a little bit late, all these things. But there's going to be pros and cons, and you kind of have to weigh different ways to it. And you can use platforms like Alibaba, and it's way more suppliers you can use. Little bit like examples here. We have Alibaba, we have eBay, Doba, Salehu. There's many ways, many things you can do. Okay. And also how to find suppliers. You can be in a wholesale directories, utilize wholesalers like Salehu, like I was talking about, which pre-vets suppliers. It reduces the risk associated with finding reliable suppliers. Okay. It's gonna be way more safer for you. Google search, there's always so many suppliers out there. Use Google, but what I would do if I was you, I would talk to 20 different suppliers. 20 different suppliers, find your best products, find your best margins, and then when you have 20 meetings with these 20 different suppliers, that's when you actually can think about, is this the way I want to go, or is this the way I want to go? It's the same thing if you want to hire somebody, an employee into your business. Talk with as many people as possible to find out what is going to work for you. A little bit in the same space, if you're actually going into a relationship, you don't want, you kind of want to be talking to different types of people to understand if this is the right one. All right. So now we know that. And also what to look for in suppliers is really important. Like I was saying, like shipping arrangements, up-to-date technology, and price negotiation, especially in the profit margins. Okay. And it's obviously going to be a little bit different, when you buy in bulk, when you buy one-on-one and all these things, it's going to be different types of prices. And obviously you need to weigh what is the best, what is the worst. Okay. And then again, you want to be establishing contracts and making a decision on what you want to do before, when you're finishing this deal, when you're actually finalizing this deal, establish a primary point of contact with the supplier. So you can ensure you have their phone number and email and all these things, so that decision making becomes easy, and you also want to have a really good relationship with your supplier. All right, on to the next model.